I looked at it again and I thought, what in the world is that? There was a big black blob on the x-ray and I thought it was a mistake they'd made or something. And I asked the technician, I said, what is going on? What is that? He said, you'll have to ask the doctor. That appointment with the doctor was our worst nightmare. He pulled up my x-ray and the x-ray showed a tumor about the size of a baseball in my left lung. Of course, our first question was, is it malignant? And he said, I don't know, we can't tell without testing. But he said, I can say, in all honesty, that almost always it is malignant if it's that size and in that position in your lung. We went home with all the questions and all the fears and doubts and so on that come up at a time like that. And the weekend was really tough. We had no idea where this was all heading. And I didn't know how to address all my fears and concerns at that point. But at pastoral time prayer that morning in the service, the pastor invited everyone who felt that they had a need that God needed, that only God could supply. Come to the altar and people could join us, and he was concerned that, these needs could be met. I thought, this is what I need. And I quickly made my way to the altar, knelt and closed my eyes. But Martha told me that a large group of people just all of a sudden just almost ran down to the altar where I was, led by the young people. I mean, we had a large youth group in those days, and it was just amazing. Those young people gathered around me, and my friends and other people there in the church. And it was such a blessed time of prayer that ensued. God met me that morning, not with a promise of healing, but with a promise that he would be faithful and be with me through whatever happens. The pulmonologist on Monday took additional x-rays of my chest, and he showed me the x-rays, and Martha was with me, of course, and we looked at those x-rays, and he said, you can see that this tumor is surrounding your pulmonary artery, which is very dangerous. And he said, we have to determine very quickly whether it's malignant so we can begin chemo and radiation immediately. So he continued to do tests literally for a month. I was in the hospital the most that month that I've ever been in my life. When I went in to see the doctor in my final review, he looked at me and he said, man, you are a lucky man. I said, no, I don't think so. I said, what happened was God, the ultimate healer, healed me. I truly believe that. And the doctor must have believed it too, because he said to me after he had called me lucky, and I told him that I believed it was a miracle, he said, well, I'm sure that. He said it certainly was a miracle, I'm certain. But he said, you have to know I had absolutely nothing to do with it. So I still have a total lack of understanding about what happened, except that I know God was in control. And he had some wonderful friends, young people there in that church at Trinity who were praying for me. And I believe God answered their prayers.